Let me give you a 30-second history on lights and where LED light came from. In 1809, Humphrey Davy, an English chemist, invented the first electric light. Thomas Edison commercialized the incandescent light bulb in 1879 when he developed a bamboo filament that lasted 40 hours. By 1880, it was up to 1,200 hours. Edison placed his filament in an oxygenless bulb, and he evolved his design from a light bulb based on the 1875 patent he purchased from Canadian inventors Henry Woodward and Matthew Evans, who, unlike Edison, were unable to find financial backers for their invention. The fluorescent light has a similar history. It was developed and put on the market for commercial applications in the 1920s. But it really began to take off in 1938 when General Electric acquired the patents for $180,000. Fluorescent lighting systems began to spread rapidly in World War II as wartime manufacturing intensified lighting demand. By 1951, more light was produced in the United States by fluorescent lamps than by incandescent lamps. The compact fluorescent lamp, or CFL, went on sale in the late 1970s. And it's interesting to me that neither the incandescent bulb nor the fluorescent light became commercially viable until the patents were acquired by someone able to get financial backing and mass-produce the products. The light-emitting diode, or LED, has its roots back in the 1900s also. But credit goes to Nick Holonak, a GE engineer who officially invented the LED in 1962. The LED wasn't commercialized until 1968, when Monsanto began mass production of LEDs for indicator lights. And until now, there have only been 3 illumination technologies in the history of the world: fire, which came from torches and candles, the incandescent bulb in 1879, and the fluorescent light introduced in 1938 by General Electric. And here we are in the 21st century, with the semiconductor revolution in lighting going on. And to me, it's interesting that the powers that be are trying to convince everyone to switch to compact fluorescent lights, a technology that was introduced in the 1930s and perfected when rock and roll was still young and computers used vacuum tubes. The same semiconductor, the same digital infrastructure, and the same intellectual property that brought us the iPhone, the laptop computer, hybrid cars, and the Xbox is being used today in high-output LED lighting. LEDs are being used in billboards, emergency lights on police cars and ambulances, and even brake lights on all 18-wheelers have been changed to LED lighting for one reason: they're bright and they don't go out. Traffic control lights at highway intersections use LED lights now. And even flashlights and camping lights have gone to LED because the batteries will almost last forever, and when they're dropped, they don't go out. My favorite part of LED lighting is the simplicity of the math. If you replace a 100-watt incandescent light bulb with a 10-watt LED and leave it on for 10 hours, the 100-watt bulb will use 1,000 watts of electricity, or 1 kilowatt hour. The 10-watt LED will use 100 watts of electricity, or 0.1 kilowatt hour. This represents a 90% savings. Another example, if you had a parking lot light that uses 400 watts plus the ballast, and you replaced it with a 100-watt LED, the savings is 77.3%. Another example involves fluorescent lights. If you take 4 T12 tubes and you replace them with 4 T8 LED tubes, you'll save 60% in electricity. The question isn't, will LED lights work? Are LED lights proven? Or will LED lights last? All of these have been thoroughly demonstrated by numerous installations here and around the world. The question is, what is the best way to be a part of this lighting revolution, and when? Now let's get practical and see, when does it make sense? In life, they say the only sure things are death and taxes, but for the business person who writes the checks, another thing is certain: fixed line items on their budget. See, we all have fixed line items like property taxes, rent or mortgage, telephone and internet expense, and of course, the electric bill. Most of these expenses cannot be changed or reduced. In fact, we usually have to increase the line item amount each year. Every month that you pay the electric bill, it's non-negotiable. The utility never sends you a thank you card. It's a line item that never goes away. Your utility company isn't going to show you how to reduce the monthly amount. Monthly overhead like electricity and taxes will always be a part of any business, and we're on the cutting edge of helping people cut this line item from their electric bill permanently and end up with money back in their pockets each month. The savings are actually a return on investment, or ROI. Most improvements are made because they're needed, not because the return on investment is calculated. You see, for the first time, a fixed line item budget can be reduced 78% or more, depending on the type of lights you replace with LED lighting. Let me ask you a side question. Do you remember when long distance charges were 42 cents a minute, before AT&T was split up in the 80s? Well, when they split up, I changed long distance carriers, and my long distance rates dropped to 21 cents a minute, saving me 50% on my long distance bill immediately. This kind of savings is what I mean when I say a revolution of the type similar to long distance savings is going on. Today, long distance isn't even a consideration when we talk about line items on our budget. In fact, I don't even pay long distance anymore. Now, did you change long distance carriers, or did you just stay with your phone company? This is the same song, second verse. The reason I ask this question is a lot of people like to talk about change and energy savings, but really, they prefer status quo. In other words, they won't change until everyone else has changed first. So my questions: are you willing to take a serious look at reducing your electric bill? And will you do business with me if I can show you how to do it? What we can bring: investor funding to replace all of your lighting to an energy efficient LED lighting. We reduce your current electric bill significantly. And in nearly every case, we don't take one dime out of your pocket. The energy savings from the new lights will reduce your electric bill, and that savings is used to pay the investor for the new lights. See, there's no cash out of your pocket. So what's the risk? The risk is that you're going to wait and see. The new LEDs even come with a warranty that'll outlive your payback time. So here's my proposal in a nutshell. You furnish us a list of your lights, or we'll come take an audit and see what you have. And you furnish us copies of your electric bills, or get a 12-month printout from your utility company. And then we'll calculate the return on investment to see if it even makes sense to move forward. And if it does, we'll check the photometrics using our design software to ensure equal or improved light quality. And we bring an investor or lender who will fund the new LED lights to replace all of the old type of lights. And we furnish and or install all the new LED lights. And in most cases, there is no cash out of your pocket. The reduction or savings in your electric bill will cover the monthly payments for the new lights. And you will have new energy efficient lights with a warranty that outlasts your payments. And after the initial investment is paid off, the monthly savings are money in your pocket to spend anywhere you want. So, are you ready to get started today?